Hey everybody, today we'll be reacting to some more True Scary Stories animated. So you guys are ready, sit back and get comfortable, because here we go! Okay, so as you notice, first of all, my camera's in the top right now because you know it is. And second of all, we're reacting to an Impractical Jokers animated, made by the legendary and sexy boy Meat Canyon. Go check him out on YouTube. First search should be. And well, let's check it out.
Murr didn't shout enough racial slurs at the patrons of Central Park, making him tonight's biggest loser. Murr's the biggest loser, so we're gonna give him a bit of a challenge.
Sal, Q, Joe,
come on, guys, what are you planning?
Go in there and rob the bank.
Jeez. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird, the kind of crap that they actually agree to.
Everybody on the fucking ground! Don't look at me! Oh, look how scared they are in there. Oh, Murr looks like a fucking dumbass. Okay, Murr, go up and tell that bank teller to put the money in the bag. Put the money in the bag! Let's go!
Oh, crap.
Be sure to tell the bank teller that he'll
My
never
camera
see his
got
family
scared.
if he does any funny business. Listen, motherfucker. Listen, motherfucker. Try anything funny and I'll kill you and your whole fucking family. You hear me?
Ah, shoot. I wish I could word this out.
Hey, Murr. See that woman with the bag over her head? Take her as a hostage. Hurry. Hurry, Murr. The cops are here. You gotta get out of there, pal. Come on.
Okay, I think we're like in our first minute. And it's already done for the entire show for me. Holy crap, dude. Holy moly. Holy on Grandma Rolly. Oh. I don't know what to think about this. This is kind of weird. I love it though.
Get up! Get up!
Meat
What
Canyon's
Murr doesn't
like,
know
he's
is
crazy.
that we planted a hostage in the bank before we got here. Move, go. Put your hands up! No one else needs to die! Shut up! Oh, Murr, forgot to tell you. How about you take off your hostage's mask? Melissa?
Oh, that's his wife, isn't it?
It's Murr's wife!
I knew it. Shoot.
So just put the gun down.
Bro.
No one else needs to die here today.
I never had a choice in any of this. I never wanted things to end this way.
Oh, crap.
I'm sorry, baby.
No.
I'm so sorry.
You have a choice. Just put the gun down.
Bro, it looks like my grandma.
We can work through this. Please, lay down your firearm. Do it.
Holy crap.
It all ends in blood.
Son, please. No! No!
Oh! No! No!
Bravery is reserved for those who risk everything for others. For strangers. Protection of what's important. We will cherish the memories we have with our loved ones. And their fight will not be in vain.
Oh, Sal.
Let no one survive.
All right, there you got Meat. Oh, you got Meat Canyon right there. Bro, that was just crazy. Holy crap. That was almost crazier than a white girl on a Saturday night, in my opinion, but bro. Holy moly, that was weird. Yeah. Next video. Next up, we got 4 true 7-Eleven stories. We're going to be reacting to 2 of them. These stories were made by the second sexy boy, Mort. And, well, without that further said and done, let's watch it.
I spend my days as a humble worker at 7-Eleven, More specifically, I was a store manager and franchise owner. I was no software
Alright,
engineer,
franchise owner.
and while my
Nice guy.
family did have their opinions on what I did for a living, my job paid rather well. I was a very different man in my past, but deciding to go the route of franchising a store was a more hands-on career path that mostly kept me in check. It was a low-stress but high-labor job, and that was honestly perfect for me. The job was almost therapeutic to me. It gave me something to take care of, something to look forward to every day. Of course, I couldn't do this alone. Working with me in my daytime shifts were workers Molly and Adam. Molly and Adam were young. They were working there to pay off their college tuition. We all considered ourselves like a family to each other. Molly, Adam, and I grew super close to each other in our time working there. They were like the kids I never had, and this naturally made me a little protective over them. We would always encounter weird or upset customers, and it was usually me who had to stand up for them. I didn't want anything to happen to them. They were so young. Nothing bad had happened to Molly or Adam yet, and I was grateful for that.
Nothing bad happened to them because look, they look so high, they probably don't even know what's going around them.
I want to say the incident occurred around 9 a.m. The sun was out and things...
Why are you driving on the sidewalk?
This time of day was always peaceful. There was usually never any problems. Eventually, a blue sedan pulled into the parking lot. Inside of the car was a rather average-looking middle-aged man. He stepped out of the car and started filling it with gas. While the pump was going, he then proceeded to the front of the store. As for their training, Molly and Adam greeted him. The man just nodded and started walking around the aisles. He then looped back around the store, approached Molly, and started flirting with her. Molly was visibly uncomfortable, and while I wanted to go to the back of the store and do my inventory logging, I couldn't do this. Not with the man hitting on Molly.
Molly, you know what? You know all it takes? All it takes is like, boy, get out of here! Okay, that's a good cut right there.
Like that. Adam, however, told me that he could handle the man if he started acting any weirder, and naturally, I trusted him. I reluctantly stepped in the back room and started counting down and logging all the items that were there.
Who said that? Did you say that?
No. However, I kept looking back towards the man to see what he was doing. It seemed like the man was
okay, why is your office like right in the middle of the store?
This was odd for a number of reasons. Customers aren't supposed to be this close to the back of the store, and he kept awkwardly peering in through the utility room. To make things worse, every time I looked back, the man started to try and act busy. It was like he was trying to pass time or look natural for some reason. I stepped out of the room and asked the man if I could help him.
Bro,
he seemed to awkwardly and rudely shun me off and keep pacing around the store, pretending like he was looking for something. For some reason, I decided to ignore all these red flags and continue my work in the back. Eventually, while Molly was passing by the back room, she whispered to me that the man was making her very uncomfortable. I told her that once I finished with the shelf I was working on, I would quickly go outside and help her. I essentially told her to hang in there and wait behind Adam. It was super confusing what the man even wanted.
Oh, what is he doing? Taekwondo?
Completely and was
like, what is he just like? Alright, getting ready to rob the store.
instead focused on trying to peer through the back door for some reason. As annoying as this was, I just wanted to get through my work. I had one last crate of granola bars to log down, and I didn't want this weird man to stop that. But that's when I heard a commotion coming from the main room. Excuse me, sir, you're not allowed to be back there. What are you trying to pull off? Call the police, Adam.
Robbery?
I heard Molly exclaim right after that. I quickly ran out of the storage room to see what was happening, and saw the commotion. The man in the blue car was trying to pull something off. I saw Molly in shock and fear in the corner, and Adam with his fists up standing right in front of her. Hey, what do you think you're doing? I asked the man.
I will win this fight.
What kind of place is this? What's even back there? What are you guys hiding? Get out of here. The sign clearly says employees only. You expect me to sit here and let you get away with this? No way in hell.
What, did you fail science?
Shock. Adam tried to calm the man down, however. Sir, we don't need to get
violent.
Just calm down and we don't have to... I don't want to hear another word from you, psycho.
9 o'clock at night.
Snapped back at Adam. Molly started to cry. She was ready to dart out the store. The man then started reaching for his pocket. We had no idea what he was going to pull out. I tackled the man in the back of the shop and screamed at Adam and Molly to get away and call the police. A few more minutes of us rustling in the utility room heard. I managed to headlock the man, but he just kept hitting me out. After a few more minutes of us wrestling and
that's not tackling.
The cops eventually got there. But sadly, They couldn't find him on the scene. We got the man's face on security camera, and his car was still at the pumps. We had both his face and his license plate on camera. Despite all this, the police just left. They couldn't find any sign of him.
We have every
They
single
just
bit of
ran
evidence
into one
we
of the
need,
other
but
back
we can't
doors.
find him. See you later.
As the
Goodbye.
cops left, I made sure to dump the man's body right next to the first. As I mentioned before, I was a different man in my past. This job really changed me. It seemed like the man in the blue car clearly noticed the other body I had. Normally it's pretty well hidden. Not even Molly or Adam could find it. But I guess one of the legs must have been sticking out or something like that while I was moving stuff around. I re-looked at the security footage to make sure there was no evidence left behind. It seemed like the man wasn't reaching for a gun or a knife. He was reaching for his phone to call the police. I really didn't want it to be this way, but he knew my secret. The man was now part of my collection. Molly and Adam still have no idea what happened, and you bet I'm planning to keep it that way. They can't find out anything about my past. If they did, they'd be shattered. For now, my secret remains safe from the public eye, and I will ensure no one remembers that day.
Now I know why you look like Kane Hodder.
It was a somewhat nippy autumn night, and I was about halfway into my shift. I was a young man, and I took up any job I really
Oh, we're
could
at story
time.
2.
In this case,
Story
it was a late
2.
shift at 7-Eleven. In the United States, 7-Elevens are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
Fun fact, I've actually only been in a 7-Eleven twice in my life, and I'm 15 years old. So, I don't know. That's more than African American. Shoot. I'm going to get kicked off YouTube for this, am I? It's a joke. Future me in 4 years, if this ever gets brought up, it's a joke.
This meant that someone had to take up that horrid night shift, and that person was me. As much as the job messed up my sleep schedule, it did help me do my coursework during the day, and it did pay a bit better than the normal shifts. I've been told that working in a convenience store is among the most dangerous jobs in the
No
States.
dead bodies in the back.
This claim
Good
was
start.
honestly understandable. Although my city is decently safe, the people who go to 7-Elevens late at night are a lot different than your normal shopper. From what I saw, it was either crazy crackheads higher than a kite, or a bunch of drunken teenagers
That's
falling all
usually
over
like
the place
every
trying
gas
to make
station.
another booze run. This was extremely annoying. My coworker Colin and I were largely responsible for kicking these people out.
Dude looks like Hulk
And while
Hogan
it
and
was an
Undertaker had a
inconvenience,
baby.
it never got truly out of
He
hand
popped
or
out.
unsafe. This all changed one Thursday night, however. My coworker Colin had some sort of family emergency to take care of, and this resulted in him having to skip a few shifts. This meant that I was in charge of handling the dreaded 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift completely alone. This truly annoyed me. Colin was a really chill guy. His conversations made the hours go by much faster, and without him, I'd just be
Good on you,
alone
dude.
in some dirty
High
store in
five.
the middle of the night. Regardless,
You're holding
I
your
received
phone
my
upside
orders
down.
from my manager, and I had to do what I had to do. I arrived at my shift around 5 minutes late as usual, and things were initially going by completely
Every step
normal.
he takes, he
The
slides
people that
like
walked in
Michael
consisted
Jackson.
of the usual late-night shoppers
That's
and
Michael
people in their
Jackson's,
pajamas
much
stopping for
uglier
gas
brother.
last minute. It seemed like a completely
The reason
normal
Michael
weekday
Jackson
night
5
at
isn't a
first.
thing anymore.
But then, a little past the midnight hour,
Sit on
things
the
got
chair
really
the
strange.
right way.
It was 12:15 at night, and I was sitting on my small chair next to the counter. I had just plugged in my phone into a charger, as it was running low on battery from using it all night. That's when I noticed a car pull up to one of the pumps. It was a large black SUV. The windows in the back were either completely shattered or lazily replaced with cardboard and duct tape. A tall and rather large-built man stepped out in a trench coat and boots.
You
He
say
turned
large
over
and
to the
rather
front
built.
door
The
of the
dude looks
store
like
and
large
started
and
to
skinny.
calmly
Looks like
approach
he's a
it.
twig.
I just kept
Or
glancing
maybe a
at my
tree.
phone,
I don't know.
however.
I can't make
Most
up
people
insults.
walk in, quickly get something,
Idiot.
and leave. There was no need
Idiot.
for formalities at this hour. You call this customer service? The man
Yes,
said
did
in a
you call
low,
that
husky
customer
voice.
service?
It
Deal
took me
with
a
it.
second or two to process that. The people who come in here, especially at this time, aren't exactly expecting award-winning service. Oh, sorry, sir. Is there anything I can get for you? The man just laughed. Okay. There's nothing you can
You
get,
laugh like that.
but there is something you can
Like
do.
I'm a
At
seizure.
first, I thought the man was going to ask for some weird sexual favor. Funnily enough, I'd been asked this before while I was on the job. You see, I'm not a young man like you. My joints,
Chill,
they
bro.
don't function like they used to.
Whoa.
You see my car over there?
That's
Well,
only
it
on
can
Friday.
use a wash and fill. The man's attitude and overall demeanor were really weird. The way the guy was talking was unsettling as it is. I mean, if the guy could walk all the way over here just fine, why couldn't he fill his own gas or wash his own windshield? However, State law says I have to assist any handicapped or impaired customers if they request it. There was no handicapped sticker on the man's car, or any sign that he was disabled in any way. But hey,
What does that
if they
mean?
request
Who
it,
knows?
I have to help them. All right, sir, give me a moment, I replied as I placed my phone to the side. I then turned on the pump for my control panel and started heading towards the car. Look at those youthful muscles work. I love to see it. For whatever reason, I ignored the man's creepiness and continued
Whoa.
heading towards the car.
Huh.
The sooner I cleaned his windshield and filled his tank, the sooner he'd be out of there. At least that's what I hoped. As I stepped out of the building, the man seemed to remain in the store. He seemed to be browsing up and down the shelves or something.
Alright.
Whatever. I got to the vehicle, and sure enough, the gas cap was wide open and ready for me. As I was filling the van with gas, I couldn't help but think about what the man said. He seemed honestly fine and was totally capable of putting a nozzle in the gas tank. It made me wonder why I was even out there in the first place. But hell, if I could just get this weirdo out of there, I could get back inside to just messing around with my phone. After about a minute or two, the tank was full, and it was time for me to wash the man's windshield. As I stepped around towards the back of the van, however, I heard the back door shut. As weird as this was, keep in mind the car was really beaten down and old. It's kind of expected for a car like that to make weird noises, especially on a windy night like this one. I quickly pulled out the sponge and squeegee and started to get to work. But as I was cleaning the glass, that's when I felt it. Discomfort. The odd sensation of being watched or stalked. As I turned around, I felt a hand go over my eyes, and soon my mouth. I barely had any time to comprehend what was even happening. 1 second I was cleaning glass, and the next I was being headlocked. I then heard the familiar sound of the front door to the store opening, and heavy footsteps coming my way. Too many
Jason
thoughts racing through
Voorhees?
my head at this moment, but somehow, somewhere, I mustered everything I had and flung myself as back hard as I could. The person holding me down crashed into the gas pump and shrieked in pain. "Damn it, Carl!" the tall man said.
Wait, hold up. Is that Ozzy Osbourne?
I rolled back onto my feet and sprinted as hard as I could, my breath getting heavier and heavier every large stride I made. I managed to run across
How
into a
would you run
neighborhood
like that?
and dive into the bushes, slowly peeping my head out to see if they were still following me in the van. After the longest 10 or so minutes of my life, my adrenaline died down, and I finally got the courage to step out of the bush. Just as I was about to call my manager and then the cops, it hit me. My phone was still in the store charging. Thankfully, however, a close friend of mine lived in the neighborhood I ran away towards. I knocked on his door and told him everything. Naturally, we called the police. When we went back to the station after the police told us they'd arrived, my manager was already there. Somehow, my manager and the police were as or more surprised than I was. Things like this rarely happen in my city. We always considered it a safe place. The police immediately looked through the CCTV footage as my manager suggested, and what we saw shocked us even more. When I had stepped out to wash and fill the van, the man jumped over the counter and tried to find and disable the security cameras in their footage. He couldn't manage to do this, so he just stepped outside and decided that deleting the footage wasn't worth all the time. We managed to capture the men's faces on video right after I made my escape. We then submitted the footage to the higher level police to see what was happening. It turns out the men were known human traffickers and were on the run from previous kidnappings. The license plate on the van seemed to be fraudulent or stolen, as the numbers only matched a completely different vehicle on the other side of the state. The investigators believed that the men stopped by my city on the way to somewhere else, as they figured it was a safer area and people wouldn't expect them to be there. I quit my job at 7-Eleven after that. The event scarred me. Every time I stepped into another gas station, I would always get reminded of how I almost got kidnapped. Needless to say, I would never pick up a job like that again. It was a normal Saturday.
Alright, that's it.
Well, most people...
That's it. Alright. So if y'all enjoyed this video, please leave a like and share. And tell a friend that, yes, I am copying Jay from the Cubs, guys. Tell a friend that that one guy is that guy. I can't do outros. That would be pretty funny. Editing time.